All right, good evening, everybody. This is News 3 digital reporter Jon Dowding. I'm live right here at Las Palmas Bar and Grill in Okatie, where currently right now they're having the Democratic Party watch party for the Beaufort County Democrats. And about, an hour ago almost, it was already called that Joe Biden is the projected winner here in South Carolina. There's a huge amount of people crowded around the TV watching. I'll give you a glimpse into the room. So there's still a good amount of people here, honestly. A lot of people have been coming in and out. All eyes are glued on the TV right now. Honestly, the biggest thing that people are really concerned with tonight is not only that Joe Biden has won, but really looking at the margin in which he's won by, because he now currently sits behind Senator Bernie Sanders in the largest number of delegate count in the country. But again, we are just gonna have to wait to see when more numbers get in about how much former Vice President Joe Biden has won by against Senator Sanders. From right now, it looks like preliminaries reporting we're seeing from MSNBC. It's showing that it's currently ranking right now. It's Joe Biden, then Senator Sanders, and then it is Tom Steyer, and then Pete Buttigieg. But again, we have so much time going on tonight where a lot of this information can change. But right now, I want to speak with one woman I met here. Her name is Jennifer. She is a part of, tell me again which organization you're from.
I am the co-chair for the South Carolina Democratic Party Black Women Caucus.
See, she said it than me. She had it down pat. But okay, so Jennifer, you said you've been speaking with people from the Biden campaign, correct?
Absolutely.
So
yes.
Tell us a little bit about how the Biden campaign is feeling after this major win.
Lots of excitement tonight. We were hoping that South Carolina would be the big win that was coming, and absolutely, it is turning out to look that way.
Yeah.
So they're very excited.
So what have been some of the biggest things that the campaign was focusing in on up until today?
Focusing on, of course, the black vote was key to South Carolina. Everyone knew that. They made a concerted effort to reach out to African American voters in South Carolina, so there was a big push for that. Improving the ground game in South Carolina. There were Biden volunteers out in Jasper County, rural Jasper County, door knocking. So they really reached out, got the bus out. They brought the bus back to South Carolina. The Soul of the Nation tour that came back. So that really it energized voters in South Carolina.
So talking about obviously how important the black vote was for Joe Biden's campaign, and for many of the other campaigns, we're seeing some of that's California, different. Right? But before we were seeing numbers from South Carolina,
yes.
What were some of the biggest issues for black voters on the ballot?
Some of the biggest issues for black voters: maternal health care for women. Education in South Carolina is a huge issue for African American voters. As you know, we are at the bottom, and we really need that to improve. Health care was also an issue. A lot of the voters that I talked to, they not necessarily, they just didn't believe the idea of Medicare for all. They didn't think that they would actually get free Medicare, free education. They were wondering, a lot of the candidates promising that, how are you actually going to make that happen if we haven't been able to do it all these years? So a lot of them were like, let's try and improve what we have. Let's make what we have, make it better. Affordable housing, Joe Biden talked about that as well. That was one of the issues that he wants to tackle as president. We want our relationships with international countries. We want that to improve. And we believe coming in the door, his experience, having previously been in the administration with Barack Obama, we believe that he can bring that expertise to the table and also be able to work with other leaders of other foreign countries.
So tell me a little bit then about this. You said a lot of major issues that we haven't really heard a lot on the campaign trail yet. Maternal health care for women. Obviously, there's been national statistics, international statistics about death rates among mothers who give birth in
yes.
hospitals in the U.S., and
yes.
it is disproportionately affecting the African American community. Aside from the maternal health care as well as health care education, what are, on a national scale, where have you seen those issues aligning in South Carolina and other states across the country?
With other states across the country, the problem it is nationwide. You have a lot of people, African American women, we have trouble sometimes when we go to medical health professionals, just getting them to believe that, hey, we are ill, we have problems that are going on. I'm treated differently, per se, from a white woman that may walk in to see a doctor. So these are things that we're hoping administratively, something that could even be addressed at a national level, federal level. Can we look at how are we communicating with communities of color? How are we putting the needs of African American women at the forefront when they go into a clinic to get seen? Because my needs may vary from that of a white woman. Although we may have the same medical issues, but maternally, the rates among African American women with mortality, it's high.
So what were some of, because I know a major divide we've seen also too is amongst young African American voters and older African American voters. A lot of young African American voters turning to people like Bernie Sanders and maybe Elizabeth Warren, people such as that. We're still waiting on statistics, obviously, to come out and all of that. But there was some reporting earlier from MSNBC saying young voters were turning towards Bernie and older voters were turning towards Biden.
Yes.
So what really are the characteristics of that divide that you're seeing in the community?
I would say with the young voter, the promises of all of the free, just the word free being thrown around so much by some of the candidates, it's appealing. I mean, it would attract anyone. For me, being a middle-aged woman in my 40s, I would rest assured go with the safer bet. Someone coming out the door saying, I'm just going to give you everything free, I'm going to be skeptical about that. Because after all these years, we have not been able to do that in this country, how is someone going to get in the office and right away be able to get those things done? So I really looked at some of the candidates promising so many free things. It just it's kind of scary for me. So I just felt the safer bet. And even some older Americans, middle-aged to older Americans, they wanted someone coming in the door with experience. And that means a lot to people.
So obviously there's a lot of candidates that are still, what's the best way to say this, that are still grasping, I'll say, at the seams for some support. But obviously this was a major win for former Vice President Biden.
Yes.
What are, obviously you mentioned a bunch of issues facing South Carolina, African Americans in South Carolina. He's heading into Super Tuesday now.
Yes.
What are those issues that you brought up that are major issues also going into Super Tuesday that he really needs to own in on?
Major issues, continuing to focus on not only all Americans, and I must say that I do realize that the candidates came to South Carolina. The spotlight was on South Carolina for the past 2 weeks. We kept hearing about the black vote, the black vote. Yes, the black vote is important, and I am glad that candidates focus on that, but I do wish we would start thinking about all Americans, because it's not only the black vote that has to be accounted for. Candidates have to focus on all Americans. Our country needs to be united. We need to improve our healthcare system. We need to improve education, infrastructure. We need to improve our international relationships. So I'm hoping that all of the candidates heading into Super Tuesday, no one's going to let up. They're going to continue just to improve, continue to up their ground game, because that's extremely important. Texting out the vote, reaching voters, however, but just remembering that every American registered voter matters.
If I have to ask the question, if he has so many titles, it's hard to keep track. If former Vice President Biden is not selected as the nominee, who would you feel most comfortable supporting after him?
If he is not selected as the nominee, that's a good one. I have not given that much thought yet. I would say, looking at the candidates that we have left, that's a tough one. Oh my gosh, you stumped me there.
I got you.
You stumped me there.
That's the question of the night.
That is the $1 million question.
It is the $1 million question.
And you know what? I don't have an answer right
That's
now.
fine.
I have not given that much thought because I've got my faith in Joe Biden.
Would you, if former Vice President Biden does not win the nomination, will you vote for the Democratic candidate?
Absolutely, I will. I believe that voting, it is our right to exercise that. It is our duty to exercise. So whomever gets the nominee, I will definitely be voting. I will never not vote. And I will always encourage every eligible and registered voter to cast your vote in every election, because every election matters.
Awesome. Thank you so much for speaking with us, Jennifer. We'll catch up. We'll catch up with Jennifer again live on WSAV on our live stream. We'll be giving live coverage from 9 to around 11 o'clock on WSAV.com. You can just go to WSAV.com/livestream to view all that coverage. We'll also be speaking with other members from the Beaufort County Democratic Party tonight as well. Again, we're still waiting on those numbers from across the county as well as across the area of the specifics. We know that Joe Biden is the projected winner right here in in South Carolina, but we are still waiting to see by how much, because that will play in a lot when it comes down to his delegate count, as well as how they're going to divide the delegate count amongst the current candidates who are still in the race as we head into Super Tuesday. That's going to be a big one where you're going to see a lot of people potentially ending their campaigns after Super Tuesday. So definitely stick with News 3 throughout the night and as well as throughout this election cycle, because we are your local election headquarters. So stay with us on air and online for the very latest. Right now, we are still in Okatie, and again, we're going to be here all night giving you updates and speaking with people and speaking with voters here about what matters to them. Definitely, you want to stay with us and watch us on air and online. Have a good one.